This experience isn't my own, but actually a story was told to me by someone that I care about, as it happened to her during her childhood when she was very young. She often spent a great amount of time at her family's home, which had been passed from generation to generation by her time when she was young, roughly 300 years. She had an older sister who would often come over to play with her, as the both of them would spend time in their grandparents' home, and as a result, the both of them would sometimes run through the halls and just generally act like young children, as the family's home of hers was a moderately sized residence. But to a child it was often imposing, and she didn't really like to go through it by herself alone. As a result, she thought that by running through the halls and doorways, it would become easier for her to deal with her family home. One day, she and her older sister were running through the rooms and halls of the home, as always, when due to a lack of breath, she stopped, and she then noticed a new room that she hadn't particularly recollected before. She tried to call for her older sister, but the older sister didn't reply. Stepping into the room, there was a large and ancient-looking wardrobe within it. Oddly, it was the only piece of furniture within it, as one of the doors slowly creaked open, and a hand emerged from within and beckoned her closer to it. My friend didn't think too much of it, thinking that it was her older sister's hand as she ran over to the wardrobe. She thought that her sister was hiding within the wardrobe and was very innocent about the whole situation. Standing there looking inside, she called out to her sister, but there was no reply, as the hand shook itself, trying to get her attention further. She still couldn't fully understand what was happening, as she eventually reached out and was about to touch the hand, when she felt an urge, something out of her instinct, to pull her hand away from the mysterious wardrobe. As suddenly, the hand from the wardrobe grabbed her hand. My friend was immediately surprised and tried to pull her hand away from the grip, as the hand from the wardrobe kept its grip and tightened it around my friend's own hand and wrist. Suddenly, she heard her older sister calling her name and standing in the doorway looking into the room, and seeing the large wardrobe and hand emerged from it, gripping my friend's own hand. The mysterious hand then let go and quickly pulled back into the wardrobe, and the door slammed shut with a massive sound right in front of her, as my friend then ran out of the room and told her older sister what had occurred. Neither could believe it, as they just blinked and looked to where the new room was, and to their shock there was nothing there, just a wall, as the both of them were frightened, and they later ran to their grandmother, as my friend told her what had occurred. The grandmother simply shook her head and said that it was probably the spirit of the house that made the illusion of the room as well as the wardrobe. The essence of the house was probably the hand, and was telling her to stop running so much through the rooms and halls. The house was probably annoyed, and the spirits within it naturally angry, and made its presence known to them, as that was the last time my friend or her sister ever ran so recklessly as they did when they were children through their family's ancestral home, as they didn't ever want to upset the house spirit ever again.